Hey, I made this, I'm making this to tell you, so I'm glad number one you saw my video. So I'm going to tell you my symptoms. So after you said you felt like pins and needles and you're going on your side or whatever, I don't know, I guess I can maybe understand. You turn on your side and you can relieve the pressure somehow. At the beginning, I think that's the way it was. And anyway, splenic flexure is the one that really put me over the edge as far as the type of pain I feel I can take, and just the type. So what are my? So mine began with. So I was in bed when this happened. I was bedbound, or at the beginning of it, and this just made it so much worse. I started getting a pain in the back of my shoulder blade, like in between. That's normal. I didn't know what it was though. But I have a scar on my chest, and it pushes in my, like where my heart muscle is, my aorta, pushes in really hard, so I get a pounding heart. I don't know if you get that, but I have read that you can get jumping heart and stuff like that. Stomach gas, that's another one. So you get air in your stomach. So if you're walking, if wind is blowing in your face, if you're eating too fast, it gets trapped in there, and you have to burp it up constantly. I drink all day, and man, you got to burp this stuff up. If you don't burp it up, what happens? It'll go down into your stomach, into your intestines. It'll just come all the way back around again, and it causes a big cycle. I have vomited 2 times. I'm one of the people that got major weight loss, like 50 or more pounds. Nausea, I've had nausea quite a few times, but not too much, likely because of Buscopan. Mainly because of Buscopan, but painkiller helps too, and I use CBD. I don't say use that, but so it became hard to walk. I had a lot of pain in my ribs, in the spleen area, and on the hepatic side too. I don't know if it's a hepatic flexure syndrome, but I do get pain in there, so that's where it starts, right? So my sides feel very crushed, both sides. Feels like someone's crushing me or giving me a bear hug all day long. And it has cycles, and it comes and it goes. And the smaller amount of pressure that I feel, the more my anxiety lifts, and I feel so much better. I had a fever once. So, you know what the weird thing is? The pain, I get referred pain. So when that pain starts, it will go up into the hepatic area. And I pulled my shoulder from my spine, like partially, and that turned intractable, so it's there permanent. And this can cause referred pain all the way up my shoulder, all the way up into my neck. It's horrible. What else was I going to say? So without Buscopan, so I went like a few years without using it, and I was always breathless. That's another one, breathlessness. That gas in your stomach, the air in your stomach causes breathlessness. You walk in the wind goes up your nose, down in your stomach, you feel panicky, you get breathless. It feels no different than a cardiac breathlessness. That's what it's like. And maybe you know, maybe you don't. How do you stop that? You drink water and you eat small meals every once in a while. So mine may be different than you in that respect, but exercise can be tough because of the breathing. That's the symptoms pretty much right there for me. If I'm forgetting anything, I don't know. I have so many other issues, but sleeping can be pretty difficult. Yeah, it can just be very difficult. I can be waking up all night. Again, I can't tell you exactly, but the harder my spleen, my colon is up in my spleen, likely the worse my sleep is going to be, and I may miss the first 2 hours of sleep because of it. And the other thing that I read that you said, and like I'm totally in agreement. Like I'm basically housebound already, okay? Both mental and physical. But I was going out. I was going out with people. I was having more pleasure, you know? And when I got this, and my eating, my drinking, I had to quit smoking. Was friggin' horrible. Every time I smoked a cigarette, I get like huge muscle contractions all the way down my larynx, my pharynx, whatever, even up into my nose. So smooth muscle contractions, and they go into your stomach, and it reverberates in your whole GI tract. It was so horrible. I was smoking a pack a day, and I had to go down to 3 puffs a day. And after a while, I'm like, why am I doing this at all? I couldn't breathe for long periods of time. Every time I just took a few puffs, it hurt a lot. And so going out is extremely hard. I can't explain exactly why, and that's where I bring mine may be a little bit more difficult than yours, because I have a midline scar and it's attached to my ribs, and my sternum, so it makes my breathing difficult. I don't sit down for 2 reasons. One, I have to pace a lot, and it might have to do with this too. But the other is I become pretty breathless sitting down. And so if I'm in like a waiting room or something like that, and my anxiety goes up so much because well, I become very breathless. It's very difficult. Anyway, I'm sure I'm forgetting quite a few symptoms, and they say that this is a subtype of IBS, but I'm telling you, if it is, well, in my case, it's mechanically done. So if they cut my adhesions, this can go away. But I don't think they're going to do that. But I don't know. Is it a subtype of IBS? Maybe on steroids. Like this is horrible. This is worse, I think, than Crohn's or colitis, from what I've heard and from what I've read. I could be wrong about ulcers and stuff like that. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, it stopped me from going out. It stopped me from going out, among other things. But hope that helps you a little further. Just my recommendation. I'm just saying, like I take these Buscopan, and they say take 2, you know, every whatever, instead of taking a whole heap of them, and they're costly in Canada. Okay, they're hard to get here too. It's stupid, but I don't take 2. I just take 1. I take 1, and I take 5, and I spread it out so I don't have to be breathless, and so I don't have to feel like I'm gonna puke every 5 minutes. My life would be horrible without that. On top of that, I do use Dicetel, like maybe 300, and in both cases, they're both, I don't think they're addictive. Anything can be addictive, but it's a non-sedating anticholinergic, and then the Dicetel is a bromide. There's many different types of bromide, but I'm glad that you found that, the Buscopan, 10 milligrams. Anyway, hope that helps you.